Aliens. I want to talk to you about aliens.
Yeah.
UFOs, UAPs.
I know.
The disclosure we've seen in Congress recently. It's confusing and upsetting a lot of Americans because there's something happening. There are unidentified aerial phenomena in the sky. We don't know what they are. Do you?
So it's such a question I do get a lot, and it's such an interesting question. I've met with pilots that look just like you, actually. Okay, they have more of a crew cut. Okay, they look like him and they look like you. Some of them look like you,
A little fatter.
but these are perfect people.
Okay.
And they're not
crazy.
conspiratorial. They're not crazy.
Yeah.
And they tell me stories that they've seen things that you wouldn't believe. These are not people that you would say, gee, oh, that's
No
okay.
way. President of the United States.
But
I said, was your
who
phone
is it?
silent?
That's Joe Biden wanting to do an interview. So I've met with pilots, like beautiful, Tom Cruise, but taller.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah. Handsome, perfect people. Sir, there was something there that was round in form and going like 4 times faster than my super jet fighter plane. And I look at these guys and they really mean it.
Yeah.
And am I a believer? No, I can't say I am. But I have met with people that are serious people that say there's some really strange things that they see flying around out there. And, if you go to Nevada and you look at that little section of where they go to look at the aliens, where they think all the aliens are landing, that, it's I think it's maybe the number one tourist attraction in the United States.
Roswell?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Roswell. I think it's the number one. It's the lines of people waiting. You have no idea how many times I'm asked that question.
But don't you have access to that information?
I have access, and I speak to people about it. I've had actually meetings on it, and they will tell you there's something going on. When they say things are going 4 times faster than my beautiful top-of-the-line airplane that goes, real fast.
With no identifiable propulsion
Mach
system.
2,
Yeah.
right?
These things are creating their own gravity fields, allegedly.
Well, they have people that are very smart and very solid have said they believe there is something out there. And, it makes sense that there could be. I've never been convinced, even despite that. I just, for some reason, it's not my thing. But a lot of people believe that it's true. A lot of very good, solid people believe it's true. I mean, this was a pipeline that was going to supply oil and gas to all over Europe, Germany in particular. And I said, what are you doing? Why are you doing this to Germany? I said, we're defending you under NATO, and you're paying billions of dollars a month to Russia. You mean we're defending you, and you're giving the people we're defending you from, we're giving you the defense, but you're giving them money at massive amounts? Probably the biggest project, most important, one of the most important projects they've ever done. I ended it.
And I know
It's
Khabib
terrible.
talked to you about it quickly when you spoke with him. I think 2 weeks ago about President Biden authorized the use of American weapons in Russia, which has now led to a fleet of Russian warships coming towards Cuba this week. What are your thoughts and concerns around our current handling of our relationship with Russia?
Well, the Russian attack on Ukraine would have never happened if I were president. Would have never happened. It's just a shame. So many dead people. You look at just the soldiers. It's 500,000 soldiers between the both countries. But so many dead people, so many towns and villages and buildings and magnificent culture just being wiped out. You okay over there?
Stuff's falling
Yes.
over.
Sounds good. Nice book, by the way. Nice book.
We'll get to that.
That's his book.
Mine, yeah,
About President, I got the 10-minute warning from the team, which is now 8-minute.
Let's let him go a little longer. It's fine. I like it. Is that okay? Yeah, let him go a little bit longer, okay? Look at these two guys. And then it'll turn out to be a lousy show, and I'll say, you were right, Jason. It'll be good. So go for another 20 minutes. Is that all right? Okay, go ahead.
Thank you, Jason.
It seems to be a nice flow.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So
yeah,
let's go.
Well, you did reality TV.
I'll be in trouble with my people. Like Biden says, I don't have that problem. But, well, first of all, he would never, he couldn't do this interview. If you asked him questions like this?
No, we were talking about that. We were like,
he
we
wouldn't.
would.
Well, we'd like to extend the invite to Joe Biden if he'd like to come on this podcast.
Yeah, I think
eventually.
you should. You know what chance you have of getting him on? I'd say less than 1%. Okay? If you did, that'd be interesting. I'd actually watch that one. Okay, see how long it lasted.
So there are two questions I have to ask
Go
you.
ahead.
The first one's kind of fun.
A lot of wrestlers they'd want to do the UFC thing, but they can't take the shots because they're wrestlers. I've been with a lot of them, and because at the White House we honor the national champion wrestlers and tennis players and sort of everything. We have these, but speaking to the wrestlers, some of them, there's somebody named Bo Nickel who I think is going to be great. He's a fighter.
Fantastic.
He was a All-American, I think probably 4 years. I'm not even sure. He went to Penn State, and he's phenomenal as a fighter, and you'll be watching him. But he doesn't mind. If he gets hit, he doesn't mind. Some people don't want that.
Speaking of conflict and fighting, since you left office, the number of global conflicts has skyrocketed.
Yeah, I'm very blessed, and part of the reason that I believe I'm blessed is because of this country, and I think in a way I'm kind of living like the modern day American dream. I had access to a phone and could start my business and reach the entire world on this device. So,
Excuse me, did you guys start like separately?
Me and Jake?
Yes.
Nah, together.
Oh, you started. So you started together.
Together on YouTube.
And did you branch out? You each have your own thing now?
Well, eventually, because I went to college. Jake was still in high school. He ended up dropping out. I finished my first year.
It's an amazing 2 stories, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Who makes more money?
It depends on the year. It depends if Jake has
I want to
fights.
ask you a little question.
and it depends on when this sells right here.
Yeah.
And that's scary. In particular, in one way, if you're the president of the United States and you announce that 13 missiles have been sent to, let's not use the name of a country, we have just sent 13 nuclear missiles heading to somewhere, and they will hit their targets in 12 minutes and 59 seconds, and you're that country, and there's no way of I asked Elon, is there any way that like Russia or China can say that that's not really President Trump? Did I forget that I made that commercial? It is so unbelievable. So it brings with it difficulty, but we have to be at the forefront. It's going to happen. And if it's going to happen, we have to take the lead over China. China is the primary threat in terms of that. And what they need more than anything else is electricity. They have to have electricity, but massive amounts of electricity are needed in order to do AI. And we're going to have to generate a whole different level of energy. And we can do it, and I think we should do it, but we have to be very careful with it, right? We have to watch it. I had a speech rewritten by AI out there, one of the top people. He said, "Oh, you're going to make a speech?" Yeah. He goes, click, click, click. And like 15 seconds later, he shows me my speech.
That's crazy.
Written.
That's crazy.
So beautifully, I said, I'm going to use this sucker. I'm going to use, I've never seen anything like it.
What'd you say to your speechwriter after that?
You're fired.
You're fired.
Yeah, I said, "You're fired, Vince. Get the hell out of here." No. This was so crazy. It took it, and it made it unbelievable. And it's so fast. China went to town. I told China, if you buy 1 barrel of oil from these people, you're not doing any business with the United States. They took a pass, no oil, and other countries likewise. And we would have had a deal. It would have been a great deal for everybody. We would have had a deal. Now they have $250 billion. They made it all in 3 years, 3.5 years. They made it all during this Biden term. I mean, he gave him $6 billion for 5 hostages, right? You saw that recently, a couple of months ago. $6 billion for 5 hostages. He made the swap. The Prince of Terror, they call him. He's the best arms dealer ever, they say. Who knows what that means, but he was a great arms dealer for the basketball player that wouldn't stand up during the national anthem. And that includes drugs as well as people, as well as people not coming in from jails and prisons and mental institutions, which is happening now at levels that nobody's ever seen before. It's crazy. How can it be good? It's so bad. And I guess they're either stupid, which they're not, they hate our country, or they want to get these people for votes. A lot of people think that's the thing. I would say very simply, honestly, vote for Trump. Because with Biden, you're never going to do it. This country's going to hell. Vote for Trump. We're doing great with African Americans, with Hispanic Americans, through the roof, both of those groups, with women, with men, and with young people, we're doing very well. But I say vote for Trump. If you don't have the right guy in the lead, the country's not going to, if the country doesn't do well, it's much harder to do even what you do, okay? Even what you do. So that would be a simple message. I really mean it, actually.
The same opportunities he's had in America, I've had as well. My road has been a little bit rockier, as we were talking about in my book, The Fifth Vital. I spent 8 years addicted to heroin, living on the East Coast.
Wow. They were afraid of Trump. They couldn't figure Trump out, and they all listened, and they did listen. And we had no wars. We had no nothing. I defeated ISIS, got rid of the biggest terrorists ever, maybe, or just about ever. But we defeated, think of that, we knocked out ISIS, 100% of the ISIS caliphate, and started no wars. I wasn't in any wars. Now, that I don't know how you may feel about that, because you're a warrior, right? Because all fighters, and you're a real fighter, by the way.
It's not good. It's not good. I don't shy away from conflict. My fiance has a problem with it.
Yeah.
It's not good. You're much more diplomatic than I probably would be.
I'm telling you, you would have had a nuclear war if Hillary Clinton got in.
I'm so curious, like, what this conversation with really powerful world leaders looks like behind closed doors. Like, is it candid, or do you exercise grace, or you talk like boys?
Everyone's different. No, but everyone's different. It's like when you're talking to people, when you're doing interviews with people, when you're fighting people, they're all different. You fight them a different way, you talk to them a different way, but everyone's different. But I had very good relationships with everyone. The funny thing is, I got along with the tough ones much better than I got along with the weak ones. You had some real weak ones too. I didn't get along with them as well. It's strange. Must be a personality defect.
It's probably a good thing.
Huh?
It's probably a good thing that you get along with the
I get along with the
leaders
tough
of the
ones.
largest countries.
There's a very tough one, Viktor Orban, and he's the prime minister of Hungary.
It's a bestseller about the opiate epidemic, which
Oh,
we'll
that's
talk
good.
about.
Wow,
after.
that's a great topic, because it's so sad to see what's happening. So bad, but it's a shame, because it never would have happened. And it didn't happen during my 4 years. It didn't happen. It wouldn't have happened. I got along very well with Putin. I got along with Zelensky, but it wouldn't have happened. And October 7th would have never happened. And inflation would have never happened. And the withdrawal, the kind of withdrawal, we were getting out of Afghanistan with dignity and strength. And I thought he was great. And we got to speak. He was just about my favorite guy, and really talented. The Strickland was fantastic the other night. I thought he was
Great striker.
He was.
Everyone wants to come out of the cage and meet you after they win.
They do.
And
Yeah, they do. I'm very honored by it. Every time they win, they jump out.
Yeah.
They jump out of that cage like it's nothing. I don't know. It's pretty high, but they have no problem.
And when you enter the arena, there's an eruption of cheers.
Yeah.
But I remember, because I've been going to UFC for a while, like it wasn't always like that. There was a very clear shift in the perception of you. Do you feel like you feel that now more than ever?
I don't know. I've done it in Vegas, Miami. I do it with Dana. Dana wants me to do that, and I do it. And it is an eruption. He said like he's never heard before. And I had it down to the lowest level, just about I guess in recorded times. So what you have to do is you have to be very tough on that. We had a deal on the fentanyl is pouring through. I bought millions of dollars worth of equipment. Believe it or not, they call it sniffing equipment, but believe it or not, the best thing to find it, you can spend millions of dollars on equipment and machinery to find drugs coming through, sort of finds it. The best thing is a German Shepherd born in a certain.
dog,
Do you know
for
that?
sure. No way.
Oh, they're unbelievable.
Yeah.
They go right to it. It's not even, there is no machine. You spend $2.5 million for machinery, and the dog is much better.
More dogs.
And we literally bred those dogs. It's a very specific type of German Shepherd from a certain part of the world. It's the most incredible thing. And I called him, I said, what's that? He says, well, we want to be able to reuse the engines. I said, They don't have wings. They don't have anything, and they're landing on a platform in the middle of the ocean. I said, how cool is that? I thought I saw it all, but that was, no, he's a spectacular guy.
Well, I mean, between PayPal, Neuralink, Starlink, Tesla,
Yeah.
SpaceX,
And other things.
yeah, no, he's probably one of the greatest minds of our generation.
AI, very big, you know. He's
That's
a big,
what I wanted to ask about. It was the second question because technology is improving at a rapid pace.
That's right.
At a pace humanity's never seen before. And the most recent development in technology that is alarming but also cool is artificial intelligence, AI.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be eventually to a point where we're not able to tell what's real and what's fake.
But it's okay because I think it's important to have a debate, or a number of debates, actually.
The fact that you are so vocal as well, especially on social media, I think works in your favor. And personally, I like that you come with receipts sometimes.
Yeah,
I've seen you pull them out of your,
No, I
your
understand.
jacket. Will you have receipts?
I like to do it.
Well, fact checking's fun.
Yeah, I know. We'll check. We're gonna check a lot of things. It's going to be an interesting. You will be watching, right?
I'll be watching.
We just don't want to schedule it around one of your fights.
Please
because
don't. Please don't.
You do pretty well.
Thanks. I'll be watching. Yeah, I always see you at
So
UFC.
do you by the way, do you ever fight your brother?
That's the question.
you want to know something?
I
So-
want to know.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
because you are both good. Do you ever fight him?
Thank you. I not in real life.
You
no.
practiced a little bit
Never.
with him, right?
We've never even sparred.
Really?
We don't know. I think
Well, did you beat him up your whole life?
I
growing
didn't.
up?
You know, we have a little expression. It's right on that hat. Make America great again. And we can do that. Make America great again. And this guy is not going to do it. This guy's destroyed our country. When you allow 15, 16, 17, they have no idea what the gotaways. Million people coming out of jails, coming out of mental institutions, insane asylum. The insane asylums all over the world, the mental institutions, they're at the lowest levels. They've been at it for years. They're going to be totally empty. And you have terrorists coming into our country. We're going to be paying a big price, and we're going to solve the problem, and we're going to solve it relatively quickly. But we have other problems, too, with energy, with inflation. He's been a disaster as a president. He's the worst president we've ever had. When I ran in 2016, I ran on the border, and I fixed the border, and I couldn't even use it in 2020 in the campaign, even though I got millions of more votes than I got the first time. I couldn't talk about the border because I fixed it. And I'd say to my people, I want to talk about the border. I was proud of the job we did. We had it fixed. It was really in good shape. And drugs were at the lowest point in years. And, not only people, drugs, human trafficking, which is such a horrible thing. You think of it as like an ancient kind of a crime, and it's bigger now than ever before because of the internet. The internet has made a lot of these things much bigger than they have ever been. When you think of human trafficking, mostly in women, by the way, people don't know that, mostly in women, where they put them in trunks of cars, they have compartments. It's so horrible.
My question is, if that is your belief, if that is their belief, why do you have the desire to give your time and energy to a country or a system that's trying to take you down?
So I ran twice. I did much better the second time than the first time. And if I didn't, I wouldn't have done this. But we had it going like this country has never been going before. It was really good. Now it's really bad. The worst border in history, the worst inflation, I think, in history. I think the history of the country, the people are getting decimated by it. All very all something you can fix. You can fix it fast.
You went viral.
And we were sort of getting ready to walk into the arena, and there was a lot of crowd, and there wasn't a negative voice in the whole house. It was pretty amazing.
Let's do it again.
I want to respect your time. I'd like to just grab a couple photos, shoot this TikTok.
Absolutely.
120 million views on the way.
Absolutely.
But thank you for joining us on Impulsive, Mr. President.
It's an honor to be with you. You guys are great.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
And good luck with your book over here. That's important stuff. That's
you so
an
much.
incredible job you did to get out of it, right?
If you're ever bored on a plane to Tuscaloosa or something, you want to give it a
Oh,
read.
I'm going to be reading it. I think it's such an important one of the most important subjects, actually. It's great that you did it.
Thank you
Ladies
so
and
much.
gentlemen, thank you for watching this episode of Impulsive. With Donald Trump, Mr. President. We love you. Hit that subscribe button. We'll see you next time. Take it easy.